talked to my mom not too long ago going, "Ma, what were you thinking dropping us off on Hollywood Boulevard?" You know, you'd hear a backfire of a car and you're like, "Is that a gunshot?" Yes, it was a gunshot. It was a gunshot, you know, and all this, you know, and I'm like, "Raymond, we trusted you. You had a good head on your shoulders." And I did, so. So coming from Pennsylvania to California was a ginormous change. It was out of control, unexplainable. I mean, 18 years of your life, you live on this giant farm, and then all of a sudden, your guitar player in your local rock band, you know, talks you into going to LA. So many great bands were coming out, you know, there's prog bands, there was hair metal bands, and I just wanted to be a part of it all, you know. So I went to Musicians Institute for a year, and I got my butt handed to me big time. Getting all this mass education in such a short amount of time. So the guitar player didn't like it out there too much. He moved back, and I wanted to see what I could do out there. I wanted to see if I could, you know, engulf myself in the scene and get noticed and get a gig. So that's why I stayed out there and he went back. But I had no idea how hard the scene would be to get into. I thought if you locked yourself in a room for 6 hours a day and got good enough that people wouldn't be able to, you know, turn you down, and that's really far from the truth. It was a wide awakening for me, for sure. I had so many people say, "This is all fun and cool what you're doing, but you know you're gonna have to have a jobby job and then play drums on the weekends." And I go, "Watch me." My whole thing when I started was longevity. I wanted to do this forever, till the day I died, and that's not always people's intentions. And that breaks my heart because this is what I live for. You know, I literally live for music. I've always been about the heart and soul of music, you know, and we're all human. If you get 10 drummers in a room right now and told them all to play Back in Black, just straight up, they're gonna sound 10 different ways. And that's we're humans. You know, you throw it into a machine, guess what? We all sound the same. On a record is too permanent to me. It's gonna outlive us all. When we're all dead and gone, this music, the CD is still gonna exist. So I do want it to sound proper. I don't want it to sound, if there's a blatant mistake, maybe it should be fixed. But if you listen to those old records, the 70s and 80s, and you hear those little imperfections, they're rad, you know, they're just so cool. It becomes a part of the song, you know. The groove is first and foremost, everybody knows that, you know, especially as drummers, we're the backbones, we gotta hold it all together. In Korn, it's a different animal, you know. Fieldy's so percussive the way he plays bass, and it's really weird. He really leads in his own way. It's not like the bass player and drummer have this bond thing like that. He floats around me, I float around him, and that's what works in Korn, you know. When I got this gig, they really asked me, we want Ray Luzier in this band, and that was a huge compliment to me. Not like, you know, sometimes I get the gig and they're like, "Hey, play what was on the record," to the previous drummer, which I understand, you know. I had to do that with David Lee Roth a lot, you know. I was playing Alex Van Halen's drum parts, so I really respect him. There's people air drumming the drum fills, I'm not gonna disrespect that. So, but in Korn, he's like, "We want you in this band. We want your personality, your character, your feel in this," which to me was a massive thing, you know. John will come up in the middle of the set and he does the James Brown thing. If I screw up something, he'll do the like 5, 10, 15 or whatever, like, or he says $50 or he'll find me $500, you know. So if he hears every note that I play. So right in the middle of a song in front of 15,000 people, he just go, I'm like, "Oh man, he caught that," you know. So we're constantly messing with each other, and I think that lets the band breathe, and there's no tension and no unnecessary, you know, drama or anything like that. Everyone's about the music 100% and about our families 100%. So it just seems to work, you know. No one sings like Jonathan Davis, you know, no one plays like Fieldy. Monkey and Hat have their own thing that if you hand the same guitar to another guitar player, it's not gonna sound anything like them, you know, and that's what I love about being in this band. I get off on the fact that like every record I see the progression. Like our new record coming out called The Nothing is definitely my favorite record, and to me it's the highlight of what's going on with us so far. I feel like now we're such a unit. This is the strongest the band's ever been.